prize scientist. And he also disagreed with Einstein because Einstein was a physicist. And the prior people said, what he's talking about.
This is how I'm going to describe this to you. Okay, I'm going to try to make this really simple, and you may not listen to me, and that's going to be okay. Okay. This is the best way to describe modern science to you. If I bought a ruler at Home Depot that's 1 foot long, how long is the ruler?
1 foot and a piece, so that you can make sure on both sides of the edges that you still have extra space, so you can make sure that you measure that 1 foot.
Correct.
What you're trying to do is a fallacy. You're
Correct.
trying to equate that to the globe Earth and the fact that you have no experiment to scale to represent the globe Earth, physics or chemistry. And therefore,
no, that's not where I'm going.
It's false.
That's not where I'm going.
It's all imagination, bro. You live in imagination. Bro.
You're not letting me speak.
Is your God, and even your God is still a subset of Christianity according to ChatGPT. It's quite pitiful.
Actually, that's a good question for ChatGPT. Is ChatGPT you said a subset of Christianity? Christianity. Have you played with ChatGPT before? Midas, have you played with ChatGPT at all?
Man, it's much smarter than the AI. I do my own research.
Okay, so it's a yes or no question. It's not a big deal if it's no.
I kept quiet for a minute. According to your fake religion, Solara, right? Your Solara, it bases its principles of age of consent and age of marriage upon Christian values. Therefore, it's a subset. Your Solara is a subset of Christianity, created by ChatGPT. And it's easy, susceptible to change due to however the laws change within the society. Therefore, you have no God. Okay. Your God is based upon the laws and the original religion of the society.
Okay, let's back up. Yeah, let's back up. I asked ChatGPT, is ChatGPT a subset of Christianity? And ChatGPT's response is no. ChatGPT is not a subset of Christianity or any religion for that matter. ChatGPT is an artificial intelligence created by OpenAI. It's a computer program designed to generate text and to help people with information, creativity, communication, and problem solving. It does not have beliefs, religious affirmations, or spiritual views. However, it can discuss Christianity or any other religion.
You realize that you're contradicting what you said earlier, what ChatGPT said earlier. You said that 18 was a sacred age. Isn't that what ChatGPT said?
No, that's not ChatGPT's view.
You said it was 18 as age of consent was a sacred age. According to ChatGPT, we asked ChatGPT, okay, age of consent is what you said.
I told ChatGPT to invent a new religion.
Right.
And in that religion, I asked ChatGPT to within this fake religion, what is the age of consent? And they said, in this fake religion, the age of consent is 18.
Right, but the only religion that agrees with that is Christianity. What's happening, Colin?
What's up, Midas? I say you're still on the good foot there, buddy.
Colin, I like your
man,
setup.
I'm scared.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
Maybe we should
trying to say his mother was
I'm down. I'm always down.
Or a man that could be a woman.
Midas can man be a woman. You know how it's going.
He said his mom.
Yeah, you know it.
Bro, I don't know where you're coming from.
You know it. Hey,
Colin can be a woman, Midas. You know my answer to that already.
Colin, making a new religion. What should be included in the new religion?
Men being women.
Okay, done.
Mandatory.
It's mandatory that you have to switch genders?
No, not women, just men. Only men can be women. Women can stay women.
So everyone is a woman?
Exactly. What up, Midas, brother? You know you're my boy.
That would definitely. Because I feel like
devil worshippers, man, they're gonna destroy your mind.
I love how much energy you guys put on it. Man, it's so fun when I'm cutting answers is great.
But you notice how stupid like non-Christian believers are? Like this brother here is going on ChatGPT, and then ChatGPT tells him, "Yo, check out Christianity for what's the best thing to do." And it's just like, is he backwards? I'm trying to figure out if it was like short bus syndrome or like autism or something like that. I'm not sure exactly what's going on.
I'm asking ChatGPT actually that question.
Let me tell you, I love my uncanny skill to just tie everything back. You can ask him anything, he can tie back. That's the best part about this stuff in my book.
I do find it impressive.
What up, bro? What you say, man?
Yo, I said salute, man. But that's the thing, right? I didn't think there was a connection at first. When I started going through the studies, I realized all the people who cap for all this stupid pseudoscience don't know what a woman is. They think they know what a black hole in the galaxy is, and the dwarf black hole is so dense. Once you go into it, you're just supernova. It's just like a bunch of homoerotic, lame.
Hey, Midas, did you tell him about the toilet in the space shuttle yet? Did you explain that?
Did I tell him about the
I wish. Maybe I feel like I could predict.
The toilet for the space shuttle.
Oh, man, them things, man. They said that they drink the doo-doo water on the space shuttle, bro, on the ISS. They said that the doo-doo water gets filtered with reverse osmosis, which requires gravity, man. It was so stupid. I was just like, nah.
Reverse osmosis does not require gravity.
The 0.01 micron filter for reverse osmosis will tell you differently, bro. It's actual science.
I am so perfectly confident that Midas has no idea what science is.
Bro, Midas, no, stop. Now, don't disrespect my boy.
Colin.
Don't do
Colin. You're obviously an accomplished musician.
I love Midas.
I'm quite confident that anyone that enters the room.
I love you too, Colin, man. Salute.
I would put more faith in their knowledge of science than Midas's knowledge of science. Any random person that pops into this space, I will put more faith that they understand science better than Midas.
This is the problem, though. You ran into a credibility issue. You say that you believed in gravity, that you couldn't define what gravity.
Midas, I'm a mushroom worshipping poker player. I don't think I can have less credibility if I try.
So I tell you what, bro. I just take it back to elementary school again. How can you carry water without a container? How can you carry a body of water without a container?
You need a lot of mass.
So you're saying without the size of the earth, you can't reproduce this experiment, and therefore on this earth,
you could do it in a smaller space, and you need a more dense thing.
Wait. According to the basic laws of physics and chemistry, can we see this experiment, or are you saying it has to be the size of the earth?
Sorry about that. I was a bit difficult.
Yeah, you can. You can calculate the gravitational constant if you want using what was that gravity experiment with the hanging weights?
Cavendish experiment, which is very susceptible to tampering. It's actually molded by air currents. And the fact that you have to sit down there and watch it for a couple of hours for it to even move, it shows that it's a false experiment. Furthermore, you can't reproduce it back to back.
It's repeatable.
You can't reproduce it back to back, bro. Therefore, it's not really considered true science.
You can, and many people have, and they do to this day. It's a repeatable experiment.
Due to the door opening and air currents moving the winds.
People have done the Cavendish experiment in rooms where no air is circulating and it still moves.
How do you know that? Were you there?
I was not there. But the experiment stated that the room was closed off to air currents.
So even if a room is closed off, are you saying that no air current whatsoever could be present in the room which would affect the Cavendish experiment? None whatsoever. You're going to have a vacuum room. And where is this vacuum room?
No, it would not be.
Documented.
No, Midas, a vacuum is different than a room that's closed off. This is why I say Midas has no idea. Just truly, it's unvacuumable.
If it's not a vacuum room, it would still have air currents.
Midas. A vacuum room means there's no, like a room that's a vacuum It's not like the vacuum cleaner that you have in your home. It means there's no air in the room. A closed off room means that there is air in the room, but there's nothing causing the air to move in the room.
But you can't prove that nothing is causing the air to move in the room, because when the scientist has to open and close the door to check on the experiment, then he introduces air into the room.
You can use video cameras in the room to monitor the experiment.
I've never seen it.
Or
What I see is that the scientist
you can also use a glass window, Midas.
They close it and they go back out.
You can use a glass window.
So you're saying that this experiment, I tell you what, I'll give you your grace. You're saying that the experiment with two weights on a tether, on a wire, right, proves that water can stick to the surface of a ball at 75% with greater than a 1 millimeter rate of depth at top and bottom? Or are you saying that this is
indirectly
seen through the size of the Earth, and therefore you can't replicate it?
I mean, that experiment can show. It's meant to calculate the gravitational constant, G, in the equation. G times mass 1 times mass 2 divided by the radius squared is how you calculate the force of any object with mass. The force at which any object.
According to that experiment, gravity is one of the weakest forces on Earth. So why can't they defy gravity, or can they show us how they defy gravity?
It is a weak force. How to defy gravity?
It's a weak force that keeps the water on the surface of the ball. It's a weak force, you're saying?
I mean, relatively speaking, if you look at if you compare gravity to a magnet, right? A magnet has very small gravitational pull, but it's really strong. I mean, thousands of times more strong in terms of its magnetic force, right? Even millions of times more strong than its gravitational pull. So, yeah, I mean, in comparison to other forces, if you look at nuclear forces, they're stronger too. But it's still strong enough to hold water on the Earth.
Yeah, Stevie, you know you're full of it, man. You know you're full of it.
All right, hold on. Let me ask a question. Let me ask a question. If gravity isn't real, like you guys say it's not real, and because it's just a theory, and theories aren't necessarily in your book that you can't prove because it's a theory, what is holding the water to the Earth then?
Well, that's when you have to go with the concept that if all bodies of water require a container to be held, that the Earth is not round. It would have to be in the form of a container. That's why I've given the round Earth, the flat Earth theory. Just get a bowl of cereal inside your fridge, and you can make Africa, you can make America, you can make South America over there with the cornflakes, and you got to.
And what theory can you prove that proves that? Since you're saying that because the theory of gravity can't be proven, quote unquote, what theory do you have that can prove that? Let's go theory for theory. What theory do you have?
All masses of water require a container to be moved or to be held.
That doesn't explain it at all, my friend. Because if you have a wet ball of water,
he's asking.
I know what he's saying. I know what he did not answer the question. That's why I asked it that way. Very, very simple, but he still doesn't answer.
That's why I answered that way.
Midas, how would you test the world is flat?
Wait, but let's not run from the statement. The thing is, all bodies of water require a container to be held. Can you defy this by modern science?
I don't know what to say, Midas.
Is a wet ball a container? Water sticks to a wet ball. because of the surface of the ball.
Doge, it makes it so easy to just want to troll him. All right.
No, don't do that. No. That's my boy. That's why I draw the line.
Your wet ball is a bad representation because that doesn't show.
So it's the bowl theory.
And the water falls off.
You want to know? You want to know why your bowl theory is wrong? Because you can't explain the 24-hour Antarctica explanation. The two can't work. Your wet ball theory, your bowl theory, and the actual 24-hour Antarctica experiment that did happen does not work at the same time. That's
actually it does. Because if you have a concept of being under a dome, right? I'll show you how it works. Being under a dome. Yeah. See, the outside areas will get the sun. The outside areas will get the warmth, right? But the inside area will probably get a reflection of the sun. So therefore, we still have 24-hour sun.
wrong.
But the outside areas wouldn't. But even so,
Wrong.
That's something that we would have to go back into. We still have to understand that globe Earth theory is like 100 years.
No. You see, that's the thing. Let me tell you, that's the thing. I don't mind having our discussion with our theories, what we think it is based on the Bible, based on the bowl, based on the dome. This experiment did happen. This is a physical experiment that we just recently did. And you guys still, up to this point, cannot explain it. You guys are spitting, what? Theory. And saying that's the justification. But when other people use gravitational theory, you guys are poo-pooing it away that it's not real. So explain it.
But have you filled the criteria of the base of your argument?
What's the
base
criteria? The base of my
stick on the outside of the surface. That's the base of your argument.
I just explained a wet ball.
Criteria.
I just explained a wet ball.
A wet ball can't hold water to a depth of greater than 1 millimeter. And if you try it, the water will fall off the ball. So can you prove that the wet ball can have a depth greater than 1 millimeter of water on the surface?
I ain't moving the goalpost. You asked a question, I answered it. I can prove water stick to a surface that's not flat. A wet ball.
But see, don't underestimate your intelligence. You're not bad as bad
until it evaporates.
Tenup does this argument and it's really bad. It makes him sound bad. And every time I ask other atheists if they agree with him, they're like, nah, that sounds too stupid for me to repeat. So I wouldn't suggest you go with a wet ball. I'm trying to make y'all better cult members.
So explain the 24-hour experiment again.
The experiment that I would like to see to prove what a round Earth would work, how round Earth would work according to physics and chemistry. I would like to see water on the surface.
That was of 1 millimeter. The agreed consensus experiment by both flat earthers, round earthers, scientists, atheists was the 24-hour Antarctica experiment. That it was not going to happen because the Earth is flat. It did happen, and they can't provide information why.
Well, this is what I was explaining just now, right? If you're in an area like Antarctica, which I would consider to be in the center of the flat Earth model, and you're under a dome, you will get a reflection of the sun. The sun will be on the outside periphery of the dome, both left and right. But no matter what, you still get 24 hours reflection of the sun within the middle of the dome. So I don't really have to worry.
I know. All right, enough. I'm not being serious anymore. Y'all go ahead. I'm going to be me again. Sorry about that.
Okay. All right. Here we go.
Minus.
I love you, brother. I love you.
He's the edge, my friend. Dr. Midas. Antarctica is the edge of the flat Earth map. It's the ice ring.
I didn't want to do it. Thank you, Stephen.
But this is called deferring of authority. Have you ever been to Antarctica?
The people who you follow have been. They were just there.
I don't follow anybody, bro. I follow science.
Yeah, no, you don't.
Yes, I do. That's why I know that water can only,
Midas.
body of water can only be carried in the container. And you're not able to show how it's not. This is the feeling of the entire
Midas.
You ask me how the sun and the moon work. You're not sure how the water works on the earth in the first place.
A man of science.
We'll tell you what, bring up another scientific argument. Do you believe in DNA?
You are a man of science as the homeless man on the street, yelling the Bible to random people is a judge. He's not.
Easy question.
He's like, I judge people.
Genealogy
But
testing?
you're not a judge.
Do you believe in DNA? I mean, it's just spazzing out now. Do you believe in DNA genealogy testing?
It's so difficult to communicate with you. How do I do it? How do I possibly do this?
Just
Why do I do
answer
this to
the
myself?
question, bro. I just want to borrow credit.
Why do I even do
Do
this?
you believe in DNA genealogical testing?
Midas, that has nothing to do with whether the world is flat or not. It has nothing to do
You
with
lost
it.
that argument. You have a cognitive dissonance.
How?
Trying to put a Cavendish experiment to prove that water. I mean, please don't curse on the stage. But you try to use the Cavendish experiment to prove that water can stay on the surface of a wall at 75% with greater than 1 millimeter depth.
Midas.
And that doesn't make any sense. You're
Midas.
sounding ridiculous.
Midas, I'm going to ask you a couple simple questions, okay? Is it true that the Gleason map is like the flat Earth map? Is that the map you use? The map that's in my profile picture?
I apologize, guys. I'm back. I was just walking my fish. My bad.
I'm glad. I'm about to walk my
Colin,
fish here
man,
pretty
this
soon.
guy's freaking out, bro. He can't prove that water can be carried without a container, and he's literally freaking out on the stage. He's trying to pull up some kind of stupid picture in his PTR. I think he's having a mental breakdown. This is why I keep saying, every time you go against Christ, man, you go into a nervous breakdown. You guys have mental illness.
Midas, do you use the Gleason map as the flat Earth map, or do you use a different map?
I don't use any map. When I refer to the globe, to the flat Earth, I use actual science to deal with the shape of the Earth and how the science of the actual Earth and the physics and the chemistry works with it.
What do you think the world looks like?
I'm not worried about a bowl of soup or a bowl of cereal.
Okay. Does the top of the bowl look like my profile picture?
Why can't you deal with the actual argument? First off, can you show me that water can be moved as a mass without a container?
Midas.
Is that a
I'm
no?
trying to be.
Is that a no? Wait, Stephen, is that a no? Smart.
I don't believe.
I have the pretentious voice, and therefore you must believe what I say.
Midas.
Can you give me a donut, please, sir? Brother, you sound like
Midas.
Oliver. What's his
I'm
name?
not asking you for money.
Midas is nuts. I love it, bro.
Midas.
Bro, I'm here trying to take biological and science information from somebody who doesn't even know what a woman is, and he thinks he sounds smart. How can water be moved without a container, bro?
I think we can consensually, we both agree that the experiment to disprove you would be unattainable to do.
Thank you. So you're
Okay,
just
so
imagining.
I'm moving on to another aspect.
So wait, you're just dealing with imagination. Wait. So you admit.
One that's easily testable.
Wait, bro. You're an imagination warrior, aren't you? You consider yourself that?
No, I don't consider myself an imagination warrior. Midas.
Well, weren't you just spitting nothing but imagination just now? If we both know that you can't have the experiment that would show that water can be moved without a container, then therefore everything else you say based on the concept that water doesn't require a container is all nothing but the imagination.
There are many ways to prove that the Earth is a globe. That's one of them, but it's not the only one. So I was going to go one that's a little easier to talk about.
They gonna maybe play the Temptations, bro. Colin, he gonna maybe play the Temptations. You see?
Bro, it's a Saturday night. I'm down for any music. So the 24-hour experiment explains the globe, my brother.
Yo, I'm telling you, this globe Earth thing, a lot of science we're dealing with is trash. And we know this, right? And they know this. But because of the fact he can't back it, he's actually having like a mental breakdown on stage. He's trying to tell me about...
We understand gravity better than we understand electricity.
Gravity and electricity have nothing to do with each other. Gravity is theoretical science. Electricity is practical science. Do you understand the difference between the two?
I don't, because you're making up the definitions.
What is theory?
I can't be in your brain.
You said you can't prove theory. You can't prove the gravitational theory of water staying on the outside of the surface, right? That's what you said. So that's theory.
I totally could, but it would be, It would require like
You don't be
things like a
dependent on
plane.
going to Antarctica and taking the picture for 24 hours. That's what we do. That's what it is.
They did do that, but people still believe in flat Earth. So I'm not sure what it did or didn't do.
I love how they really can't explain that. That's the best thing about this app is that people still up to this point. People still on this app, still try to brush past it fast enough. But that's why I would just ask the same question. I did.
And Midas just told me that Antarctica is in the center.
And I heard. That's why I said I'm gonna go back to this being me. I know. That's my.
Yesterday, somebody told me that.
That's a concept from my viewpoint. But I can admit that's fantasy, right? So why is it your entire globe Earth model you can't prove how the water stays on the ball?
I'm done. I hit it. Boys, I hit my limit right there.
No, Steven, don't do it, brother. Don't let him win. You just gotta join the fort.
Midas, I think there's something you don't understand about Midas, okay?
Oh, I understand. Trust me. I love Midas. Midas know me, and I know Midas trust me.
Okay, I'm sure you do. I'm sure you do, bro.
Salute, Colin. Salute, man. They can't handle me, bro.
Colin.
This is why they get so scared on the net, yo. They get terrified, bro. I don't know what's happening. They have no more arguments for nothing. They don't want to back nothing.
I hear you, Steven. I hear you.
There's no conversation that Midas will have and think that he lost.
No,
It's not possible, right? It's like just literally.
I'm driving, brother. Let me crash.
There's not a single situation where Midas is going to be like, you know what? Hey, you're right, and I'm wrong.
But which debate have I lost so far? Which debate are you writing? What?
Midas, you lose all the time.
I've never lost not one debate.
All the
That's why
time.
people who go back to the points of old debates. Furthermore, I debated with and he went off a clubhouse for 6 months, yo. Colin, yo, this guy was crazy. What was his name? God's lawyer. He went off a clubhouse for 6 months after debating me. And when he came back on after 3 months, I found him, I hunted him down, and he ran again. I just wanted a fact check round. He didn't want to do a fact check.
Midas, we can debate right now, and I'll have Colin be the officiator, right? And Colin will call the debate, right? Colin can define who wins this debate. I have faith that Colin is a
What's the topic, Stephen? What's the topic?
a fair. He'd be a fair officiator.
I can be fair, but I can also be bought.
Put your cash up in the chat, Mike. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, let's talk about.
All right, let me pick a topic first. Hold on, let me pick a topic first.
Look, we could do flat Earth. Flat Earth's pretty easy.
No. Was Civil War real?
Was Civil War real?
That's the asking.
What is your stance, Midas, on whether the Civil War in the United States happened or not?
I believe it was a fabrication by Abraham Lincoln, who was a top hat. Gnostics at that time. And if I look at the photographs of the Civil War, most of the time I see dummies, as far as wooden dummies.
Okay. All right.
Now it's your turn. I'm judging. Your turn, Stephen. Plead your case. He made a compelling argument.
I'm not prepared. Give me like 60 seconds to prepare. Is that fair? Is that a fair thing?
You got 60 seconds. Midas, you the man. I'm telling you, bro. I love you so much.
Yo, salute, bro. It's just following the truth. He doesn't have any photographs that don't look doctored. Then you have to wonder yourself, how do you have photographers around a time like that just cooling out, taking a bunch of pictures of everybody just dressed up in regalia? It's kind of ridiculous if you think about it, you know?
Okay. All right. Am I even? Oh, I'm muted. Wow, this is exciting. Okay. let's go to it.
I thought it could be bought.
So we have official documents and records from the United States, including the Emancipation Proclamation signed by President Abraham Lincoln at the time. It is a real historical document preserved in the United States archives. Congressional records and state secession records. An example would be South Carolina's Declaration of Secession are available in public archives and libraries. There are thousands of eyewitness accounts, including diaries, journals, and letters from soldiers, generals, nurses, and other civilians. And they still exist, the primary documents, such as Mary Chestnut's diary from Dixie, and Ulysses S. Grant's memoirs. These were written at the time and give detailed accounts of battles, conditions, and the national climate. We have actual photographs. The Civil War was the first war extensively photographed. Photographers like Matthew Brady and Alexander Gardner took thousands of photos, including images of battlefields, soldiers, and Abraham Lincoln. These glass plate negatives are still housed in the Library of Congress. You can physically visit preserved battlefields like Gettysburg, Anaheim, and Silo. And many still have trenches, cannons, and artifacts. National cemeteries and monuments are dedicated to Civil War soldiers. There are newspapers and publications in the Civil War era, like the New York Times, Harper's Weekly, and the Richmond Dispatch. They ran daily reports on battles, politics, and public opinion, and all the original copies are available in the archives and on microfilm. There were census data in 1860 and 1870 that shows the drastic demographic and economic changes due to the war. Military service records, over 3 million soldiers, both Union and Confederate, are preserved in government archives. And every serious historian across political spectrums and continents accepts and studies the Civil War due to its wealth of primary and secondary sources. And I'm happy to provide links to more primary sources if needed.
Right. That's it. What I believe is the Holocaust. That's why I used to call it Holocaust. Just to keep it clear. But when you start looking at these images, you're seeing that these are just fabrications. So it seems that everybody relies upon the documentation given by people who are getting money through these fabrications to rest on as evidence of the fabrication. That's what I'm saying. So even when we look at the 1850s know-nothings, that party went away and then became the Native Americans that we see today through television, through cowboy westerns. A lot of Civil War history has been fabricated and maintained throughout our history through Western movies and, historical movies. I find that our society has become nothing but TV junkies. They're not looking at the actual evidence. I have some of the rare historical photos in the top. And I mean, just as you said, I think you lost the debate when you started saying that it was the most photographed war of that time. I thought at that point in time it was done. Like I said, it's a modeling shoot. And people don't do photo shoots when there's actual danger around. It's kind of like when you watch the Vietnam War and you have a photographer right there at the trip line when they're trying to disconnect the trip line, and you tell yourself, wait, that's going against protocol. They're making a Mission Impossible episode, and this is what basically they're doing. Making Mission Impossible episodes before Mission Impossible was even big.
All right. So, Steven, you get one more rebuttal, and then we'll move on to the next clip.
Fascinating. So there's a claim that the photos were fabricated because there was no blood. Civil War photography used long exposure times, up to 30 seconds or more, meaning only still objects could be photographed. Action scenes or freshly wounded soldiers would have been a blur or invisible. Blood dries and darkens quickly, especially on black and white film. Many scenes were photographed hours or days after battles, which is why you don't see red blood pools. So if it were staged, why show bloated corpses, broken wagons, and war-torn landscapes instead of dramatic battle poses? So it's also true that many photos do show graphic realities, including dead bodies, amputated limbs, and destruction. And the Library of Congress and the National Archives have them cataloged, and I'm happy to show you them if needed. So I heard that he said that it was like just a movie set, or it was, like this is like a modeling shoot. In the 1860s, there were no movies. The motion picture camera wasn't invented until the 1890s, decades after the Civil War. The first real war movies came in the early 1900s, and by then, veterans of the Civil War were already old or deceased. Many battlefield photos were taken by Matthew Brady's team using wet plate Call-a-Dawn cameras, involving a slow and difficult process involving glass negatives, portable darkrooms, and dangerous chemicals. Not a movie set by any stretch. The data, so he claims that the data was fabricated. So that would require a conspiracy involving millions of people across 50 plus years. Soldiers, widows, doctors, politicians, foreign governments who commented on the war and visited the U.S. during the war, and multiple generations of writers. Why would someone fabricate mass graveyards, thousands of pension claims, veterans hospitals, and casualty lists? If it were fake, how do we explain Confederate and Union monuments? And many were erected by surviving soldiers themselves. Cooperating sources makes it difficult, or what is it? So no single person or institution tells the story. The Civil War is confirmed by multiple sources, including diaries from both sides, Union and Confederate, letters sent home by soldiers, newspaper clippings from dozens of states, British and French newspapers reporting on it contemporaneously, grave sites and war hospitals that still exist, physical bullets, buttons, uniforms, cannonballs are unearthed constantly. The debater is making an extraordinary claim that the war, which supposedly killed 600,000 plus people and transformed a nation, never happened. That kind of claim requires extraordinary evidence, not just doubt or disbelief. If they say it's all fake, ask them, show me the proof that the millions of letters, graves, and battlefield artifacts were planted. Who did it, when, and how?
All right. That any submission, Stephen?
Yep.
All right. Midas, would you like to get one more rebuttal submission, or do I make my determination on question one?
I think
I'll make one more rebuttal.
All right. Go at it.
Would that give him three? That would give him three, right?
Stephen, I don't think you need to give it us. Let him go.
No, I think it's 2 and 2. You said 2 and 2 in the beginning.
I did, but just for entertainment value, I want one more.
Okay, this is the bonus round. Bonus round for fun.
Because I got another
Tree. So we're looking at the stories of the